Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Morning Movement. I'm your host, Imran Ghani, and this is Bipolar Harmony. Here at Bipolar Harmony, we work together to help you navigate the acute phases of bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder can be a beast of a health illness, a health condition, and ride it, whether it be through the uncontrollable highs or the extreme lows. The extreme lows, in my situation or in my experience, were much harder than the mania, the hypomania, the elevated states. You might be experiencing a lack of desire, a lack of excitement, no appetite for eating, um, staying in bed for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. It's extremely difficult to get out of bed. You might not want to take care of yourself and not shower, not groom yourself. And one thing that I want to begin with and remind is these periods of depression, they are temporary, and that there are things we can do along with medication and therapy that can help us get out of a depressive period. One thing that I've heard on the internet is that depression is arguably a defense mechanism of the human body. What I mean is, when you are depressed, you are in need of deep rest. Your body might notice that you have been living a certain lifestyle that is imbalanced, and for to protect you, it has put you in battery saver mode. It has intentionally brought your energy level down into a state that will help your body recover. This is especially in the case of after a manic episode, when one isn't sleeping at all, one is just exerting themselves in all sorts of activity, especially the activity of the mind. The body burns out and goes into a depressive state. Now, on one end, that sounds great. However, depression can be quite unpleasant. One can become unpleasant to the people around them. And then you can also deal with ugly thoughts of ending your life, not wanting to continue to live, not taking on your responsibilities. So while it is a monumental, sort of a massive undertaking, movement is one of the things that can really help lift our mood and get us through the depressive phases, and slowly yet surely, with mindfulness around our sleep, our nutrition, our mindfulness and meditation, and then also having a loving support group and community, one can eventually rise above the extreme forms of depression. So let's begin by sitting in a comfortable seating position on the ground. Here I'm sitting in easy pose, and we'll place our hands on our knees, on our thighs. We'll we'll straighten our spine, broaden our shoulders, and relieve any tension in our mind. Relieve any tension in our neck, and we'll take a deep inhale with our stomach and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead and continue to breathe as we settle onto the mat and we get ready for our practice. We ground ourselves and anchor ourselves to the breath. Deep inhale with the nose. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Continue breathing as I offer you an antidote to depressive period. One of the most common ways of getting out of the ugly, sticky, marshy waters of depression is to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. This can be done by having a gratitude journal where one writes at the end of the day all the things that they are grateful for. Today, what we're going to do is we'll close our eyes and we are going to make space for something or someone who is currently in our life and that we are grateful for them. We are thankful for them. It can be a person in our life, whether it's a partner, a family member, a friend, even a colleague or someone we brush shoulders with on the street. And if it's not a person, then it could be something that we possess, like our car or our favorite shirt. It can be difficult to find the things that we're grateful for when things are so heavy, so difficult. So if you're having a hard time finding something, pick the sun, pick things like the fresh air, and make space for it in your practice today. And once you've come up with the thing that you have selected to be grateful for during your practice, let's bring our hands together. Take a deep inhale, raise our hands up, and come back down. Inhale up, and down. Inhale up, and down. We'll bring our right hand to our left knee, and we'll drop our right shoulder to our right knee, and raise our hands up. We look up. We look down. We look up. And we look down. Come back up slowly. We say, thank you, knee. Thank you for getting me from point A to point B. We'll place our left hand on our right knee. We'll place our left shoulder onto our left knee. And we'll raise our arm up. Deep inhale. And exhale. We'll look up, look down, look up, and we look down, and we come back up. Now what we'll do is we'll bring our heels together, we'll supinate, opening up our feet like a book, straighten our back, and take a deep inhale with raising our hands up, and forward fold. We send gratitude to our feet. Thank you, feet, for bearing the weight of my body, helping me get from point A to point B. We're going to squeeze our toes, give them a nice little massage. All right. Okay, we'll come back up. And this time we'll sink in a little bit deeper. All right, we'll come back up. Now, we're going to do a series of heart openers. Heart openers are those where we kind of protrude our chest, but energetically, there's something that lifts the mood quite a lot. So let's come on our backs. And before we start our heart openers, we'll tuck in our knees onto our chest and we'll wrap around and just sway side to side, feeling grounded to the earth and feeling the loving embrace and stability of the earth. And from here, we're going to activate our core by going into following position. We're going to make our legs into an L shape and raise our hands. This will kind of activate our abdominal muscles. If you want to challenge yourself, you can raise your legs straight embrace the wobble. But this is fantastic for blood flow. It is just amazing for anytime I'm feeling a depressive, like low energy. This is a really good restorative pose. Keep your pose, even if you're struggling with keeping your legs up, you can return to this position. There's no shame. Everyone is at a different stage. And we'll come back and give ourselves a nice hug. All right. We'll bring our legs to the ground and we're going to take our fingers and touch them to the back of our heels. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lift our hips. We're going to crisscross our fingers behind our back. And we're going to raise our hips as high as it can go. And come into bridge pose. Be careful not to look right or left. And breathe. And we'll come back down. All right, once again, we'll raise our hips. And if we want to give our hips a little bit of assistance, we can place our elbows underneath and raise our hips. And then crisscross our fingers behind our back. You'll feel your glutes muscles activate, your hamstring muscles activate. And we'll come back down. It took me a long time to be able to go into wheel pose, and my wheel pose is still not very strong. But if you feel called to do the wheel pose, the way you get into wheel pose is similar, where you start in the bridge pose position and then you will send your arms. So you'll place your hand next to your ears, your fingers facing your feet, and then you get into bridge pose. And I'm still improving, but that's something you do once once you've opened up your back muscles a bit more. But that's okay. There was a time I was able to do it for a longer period, and today I was only able to do it for 5 seconds. That's okay. One of the things that's difficult about depression is we're not able to do the things that we used to be able to do with ease, and that can be a real bummer. Just know that with time and with steady effort, it is possible to do the things you love and to do them uh, even better than how you used to do it. All right, let's turn over to our stomachs. Audible pop though. Okay. Maybe I can put the volume down. Maybe that'll help with the audio. Thank you, FF, whoever you are, for the feedback on the sound. All right, we'll come on to our stomachs. And we'll just feel the ground, feel the grounding and the stability that comes from placing our bodies on the ground. And what we'll do is we'll send our hands back, and from here, we'll raise our chest. And remember to always keep a loose neck, not holding any tension in our necks. And we'll come back down. We'll come back up into a mini cobra. And if you feel called to do so, you can raise your feet and breathe.
Chewy is America's #1 pet pharmacy. Now get $20 off your order of $49 or more.
Now from here,
Then once your prescription's approved,
go ahead and lie back down onto the ground.
RX Fall 20 and save on your pet's prescriptions.
lie back into the ground. And from here, we're going to go into downward facing dog. So we're going to come up into plank position. And from here, come into downward facing dog. We'll pedal our legs. Come into plank pose. Chaturanga. And upward facing dog. We'll look to the left. Look to the right. And back to downward facing dog. Plank position, chaturanga, and upward facing dog. Back to down for facing dog, and go ahead and flow at your own pace. All right, well done. Let's come into tabletop position. And we'll do a series of cat cows. Now, if you remember from last week, cat cow with the undulating of the spine is really good at energizing while at the same time grounding and stabilizing frenetic energy. But especially during a depressive period, it is really good for lifting our mood. So the way we do it is we inhale and we raise our tailbone, drop our stomach, raise our chest, and we look up. And then we'll drop our tailbone, raise our spine, drop our chest, and look down. So inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. Go ahead and do that in your own pace 3 times. Really stretch out those stomach muscles. All right. Now we'll get on our knees. And from here, I'm actually going to face you all. You can, there we go. We'll be on our knees. And from here, we'll send our right leg over to our right side. And we'll place our right hand on our hips. We'll take our left hand, send it up, and behind us, where we can either place it, I'm going to turn to the side, we can either place it behind us or reach for our foot. So let's do it again. We'll come to the top of our knees with our hands on our hip. We'll take our left hand and send it back and look up. We'll try to keep our thighs straight. And deep inhale. and pull ourselves up like there's a string on our chest and come back up. Now, we'll do the same on the right side by sending our left foot to the side, sending our right hand, inhale up, and exhale. If you can only reach the back, that's okay. If you want to aim to reach to your back heel, you can have your foot, your ankle up like this, or on the ground if you want to go deeper, and look up. And we come back. Now, what we'll do is we have both of our feet behind us. And now that you know that this will give a deeper stretch and keeping our feet, our toes on the ground will make it easier, we're going to do both of our hands. So inhale, send both of your hands up. And you have three options. You can either keep both of your hands behind your back. The key is to keep our thighs perpendicular. So, I could very easily come back here, but we want to try to reach as far back while maintaining perpendicularity of our thighs with the ground. So I'm gonna just hang out here. But if you feel called to do so, you can come here, or you can go even further. So inhale up. Send your shoulders back and breathe. And we come back. Wonderful job, everyone. All right. We'll come back to the ground. And from here, we will extend our legs 90 degrees. And we'll do a couple of stretching. We'll inhale up. And exhale to the left. Inhale up. And exhale to the right. We'll take our left hand to our left foot, grab around our toe, our big toe, and we'll raise our right hand up and stretch over to the left. I've been traveling this past week. My body is quite tight, but that's okay. Let gravity do the work. And as you're noticing, my body is falling further and further. Just allowing my intercostal muscles right here to stretch. And we come back up. This time we'll come over to the right side and we'll lock our toes to the right side and inhale, stretch. Really feel the stretch in your intercostal muscles right here and breathe deeply, allowing gravity to create space where you thought there was no space. And we come back to our intention of feeling gratitude to that one thing or one person in our life that we are grateful for. All right. We'll come back to the center. We'll bring our feet together. And from here, Deep inhale up. And exhale, forward fold. And we'll come back up. We'll give our left foot an extra stretch by bringing our right foot, place it against our inner left thigh. Inhale up. And exhale, forward fold. And we'll come back up. From here, we'll send our left foot onto our inner right thigh. We'll inhale up with both of our hands and exhale, forward fold. Drop your neck. And we'll come back up. All right. We'll send our feet back and we'll come in to a lying down position once again. We'll have our feet up. This time, we'll make our feet wider than the mat and our knees kissing each other. And we'll windshield wiper our knees towards the right. And then to the left. Bring your awareness to the areas that you might be feeling tight. And go ahead and switch left and right at your own pace. Definitely feeling more tightness on one side than the other on my end. How about you? We can bring our right leg or our right foot and place it to the left of our left knee, and that will give a bit more twist to your left hip, your T-band, your abdominal muscle. And now you can send your knees to the left and take your left foot and place it on the right of your right knee. Wonderful. We'll come back, bring our knees to our chest one more time. And to have a little bit of fun, what we're going to do is we're going to rock back and forth. In 5 or less rolls, we try to do a 180 and come to the other side of our mat. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That was fun. All the while strengthening our core and massaging our back. Now, one final pose that I wanted to show today that helps with a depressive period is a variation of child's pose. Now, if you remember from last week, child's pose is where we start in tabletop position and we broaden our knees wider than our yoga mat. We send our toes, the tops of our feet facing the ground, and then we hinge our hips and we come down, and then we try to stretch our hands as far forward as possible, and we try to get our foreheads to the ground. This is an amazing pose for restoration, for feeling grounded on the earth, opening up our hips, relieving tension in the lower back, and also in helping us to fall asleep. So from here, we'll take our hands, plant them on the ground, hinge our hips forward all the way, and look up, and then back into child's pose. And once we come back into tabletop, what I'd like for you to do is to bring your forearms to the ground. And from here, to send your hips back. Just to really feel that stretch in your thoracic spine. Those vertebrae in between your shoulder blades should really feel like they're opening up. And we'll come back. From here, we can send our hands forward. This really opens up the chest. A lot of times we sit on chairs, we sit slouched. These postures are really good for correcting our slumped postures, just opening up our breathing. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And we'll come back up onto tabletop position and wag our tails a little bit. And now we come back either to our seating position, or if you feel called to do so, you can lie down on your mat. So it's your choice. Either you can lie down on the mat in corpse pose, or you can come into seated position. So go ahead, settle on the mat, And as we do commonly in Sunday morning movement, we bring our awareness back to our intention of cultivating an attitude of gratitude. We close our eyes and bring our awareness back to the person or thing that we feel grateful for. And if it is a person and we feel comfortable in doing so, after this practice, we call them or we tell them, hey, I'm grateful for you, especially if I'm going through a tough time, like a depression. I'm really grateful for you. In so many different spiritual traditions, and the practice and mindset of being grateful is something that is of great spiritual benefit. It unlocks so many blessings in our life, and overall our demeanor, our physiology, our mannerisms become affected when our internal thoughts are those of gratefulness, of counting the blessing as opposed to seeing the uh, the test or the trial or the deprivation therein. There is always a way to look at something in the form of a blessing. Take a deep inhale and exhale. We'll take our awareness to the crown of our head and we'll scan our body and we'll send gratitude as we go down our body. We'll come down to our forehead, to our eyelids, to our nose, to our lips. If we feel any tension that we might be holding in our jaw, we relax our jaw, our chin, our throat. We come down to our shoulders. And if there's any tension that we're holding in our shoulders, to relax our shoulders. We come down to our chest. To our esophagus, where it connects with our stomach. We come down to our stomach. Thank you, stomach. Thank you for all that twisting and bending and stretching. We come down to our hips. Thank you, hips. Come down through our thighs. Thank you, thighs. Come down to our knees. Thank you, knees. Come down to our shin and our calf muscles. We come down to our feet. Thank you, feet. And to our toes. Wonderful. Let's open our eyes, wiggle our toes, wiggle our fingers. If you're lying down, lean over to your right side and push up with your left hand and meet me back up in sitting position. Well, you might be asking, what is the purpose of scanning our bodies? Well, think about it. When our awareness is on something as simple as our body, our awareness is not in about the things that we might be sad about the past, and that we're not thinking about the anxieties of the future. Rather, we're here in the present. And that is such a gift that you can give yourself during a depressive phase. Another thing, another benefit of scanning our bodies is often we'll feel a discomfort in the body, and that might be associated with the emotional pain that you're feeling. And so when you get to that place in your body that is holding pain, that is holding discomfort, simply observe and give it attention. Sometimes, like a crying child, our body is craving attention. And by simply observing and giving it that attention, it feels loved, it feels nurtured, and we're able to let go of the things that are bothering us deeply inside. I often throw a lot of things at you in these practices, but to summarize, today's practice was a practice to help lift our mood if we are in a depressive period. First, by setting an intention and to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. The way we do that is by holding space for something or someone that we feel grateful for. It could be someone in our lives, someone in the past, and it could be something as mundane as the sky, the air, the trees, the sun. There's always something that we could complain about. There's always something to be grateful for. And so today's practice was to think about the things that we're grateful for, to hold them in close to us during our practice. And this is a remedy, one of those remedies that has helped me and many others in lifting ourselves out of the marshy waters of depression. Additionally, in addition to this intention, we also did a series of asanas that are called heart openers. So you can Google heart openers and learn about the energetic benefits of how it lifts our mood and it raises our energy. So if we're having a hard time getting out of bed, we're having a hard time being present with the people in our lives, that we engage in these heart openers to combat some of the sticky symptoms of depression. I wish you good luck in your journey. I wish you a blessed remainder of your day. Thank you so much for joining. And in the chat, you can send feedback. I'm still working on improving the camera quality, the sound. So thank you so much for being amongst the early supporters of Bipolar Harmony and Sunday Morning Movement. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.